70 years sitting on a red velvety throne is a long reign to celebrate. But for Queen Elizabeth II, there's also been a lot of questions to answer, secrets to sweep under carpets, and payouts to distribute, all while waving a gloved hand to the masses. And the next few days of celebration for her Platinum Jubilee will be no different. Here to break it all down for us, Hilary Fordwich. She is a global business analyst and British Royals commentator. Also with us, Charlie Lankston, female editor of DailyMail.com. Hilary, let me start with you. I've been hearing so much about this Platinum Jubilee for what feels like weeks now. Explain to us, why is this such a big deal?
Well, Brian, pleasure to be back with you. And yes, this is absolutely historic. This is the first and the only time there's ever been, as you said, a Platinum Jubilee, and it will be the last in our lifetimes. So this is something that is going to be spectacular throughout the nation. And some of the things that are going to be historical are things like the lighting of the beacons. This has historically been done in terms of weddings and coronations, but it's going to be throughout the 54 capitals of the Commonwealth. So many of those are former capitals within the empire, but they're now countries that choose to share the common values and the trade with the UK, so they're members of the Commonwealth. So this isn't just in the UK and the British Isles, this is throughout the Commonwealth as well. And I think this has the eyes of the world. And I think what it is that Queen Elizabeth personifies, Her Majesty personifies that dedication to duty that she declared on her 21st birthday, Brian, that whether her life be long or short, she would be devoted to her people and her family within the empire at that time. And I think she's done that. And that's what the British admire. It's her, not just her stiff upper lip, not just her stoicism, but it is her devotion to duty that she has done selflessly for 70 years.
Charlie, we know that the royal family is huge, and they've obviously had a lot of drama recently. How do they decide who gets to attend and who doesn't? I mean, do sort of the more important people who haven't been as naughty get to be up front and others get pushed to the back?
Well, there is one specific example where that will be the case, and that will be the members of the royal family who are invited to join the Queen on the balcony at Buckingham Palace on Thursday. Now, typically, these gatherings have involved huge numbers of royals, from young to old. But this year, it has been made very clear that the only members of the royal family who will be invited to stand on that balcony are senior members who still carry out official duties. Now, while that may seem like a way of saving space or keeping crowds down, what that actually does is it immediately eliminates some of the more scandalous members of the royal family, including Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, and Prince Andrew, all three of whom will not be on that balcony with the Queen, and alongside other major members of the royal family that we all know, like Prince Charles, Prince William, and Kate Middleton.
Hilary, look, I get why they don't want Prince Andrew on that balcony. I think we all understand. But when it comes to Prince Harry and Meghan, I mean, gosh, I get that they ran away and they left their royal duties behind, but they don't even get to stand on the balcony. He can't even be with his grandma for the celebration.
Well, actually, Brian, it wasn't that they just ran away. They actually declared to the world that they didn't want publicity, that they didn't want to be in the public eye. And Prince Harry, numerous occasions, I mean, with that interview with Oprah, he contradicted himself, and he actually was the height of hypocrisy. He said so very many things that were actually untrue, like, oh, and I never had the opportunity to be on the back of the bicycle with my father. Well, within minutes of him saying that, there were hundreds of photographs of him on the back of a bicycle with Prince Charles. So it wasn't just that they left, it was that they said they were going to do things which they didn't do. If you want to have a quiet life and you want to be out of the spotlight and you don't want the publicity and the cameras make you all nervous every time they go off, you don't go to LA and you don't hire 3 PR firms and you don't travel around the world with a Netflix crew with microphones in your pocket. And that's what he's done.
You're right. You're right.
He's plummeted in popularity, I will say, Brian, with the British public. He used to be one of the very beloved, and of course, as the son of Princess Diana. And you're right, he's the Queen's grandson, but then he shouldn't have badmouthed her. You don't throw your family under the royal bus and expect to be embraced. The Queen, though, is very magnanimous, very forgiving, and she's invited them, and they're going to be there with the family. They'll certainly be there at St. Paul's Cathedral on Friday.
Yeah, those are fair points, Hilary. Charlie, let me ask you. I mean, obviously here in America, we love the drama, we love talking about it, and we also obviously have this fascination with Prince Harry and Meghan. Meghan is an American. But in England, I mean, are they also focused on all of this and who sits where and who gets to come and who doesn't? Or are they really just mostly focused on the Queen and this being about her?
You know, I think it's a bit of both. The Queen is still incredibly popular in the UK. You know, there will be some people who say that the monarchy is an outdated institution, but this is a woman who has served her country selflessly for 70 years. And for the majority of people in the UK, myself included, her monarchy is a huge part of our culture, of our tradition, and certainly for me, it's been a huge part of my upbringing. And I think that there is a really great sense among the British people of wanting to come together and to celebrate this extraordinary achievement of a woman who has, quite frankly, put her duties first and foremost above pretty much everything else in her life. Now, obviously, the scandal is always intriguing. People will absolutely be keeping a beady eye to see where Harry and Meghan pop up, to see whether there are any awkward interactions between them and the rest of the royal family. But I think on the whole, people really just want this to be a positive celebration for the Queen and indeed for the country. We've been through a pandemic. The Queen has been through the devastating loss of her beloved husband. She's also had to weather, as you mentioned, a very big number of scandals in the last few years alone. She deserves a celebration. Yep. She deserves to really celebrate everything that she's done in the past 70 years.
I hear you, and we will all be watching it very, very closely, and we look forward to having you on again. Hilary Fordwich and Charlie Lankston, thanks so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.